Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. If you have not yet had an opportunity to review our prior content regarding 7 court orders, they are orders that are extending no contact mandates upon Mr. Kohberger, 7 in total, please do, because it will provide you with some background going into this presentation. By way of just a synopsis, the state of Idaho had filed a motion to prevent Mr. Kohberger from contacting the people whose names were just released, having been sealed from the public. The motion was filed on the 18th of July 2025. As we noted, there was no response from Mr. Kohberger on the court docket or the case summary page. There was no hearing on this matter from what we could tell on the case summary page and also the court docket. And then these extensions of the no contact orders were signed and filed on the 23rd of July 2025. This would have been, it appears to be after the sentencing hearing that occurred that day at 9 o'clock a.m. and thereafter. These filings were in the afternoon. This one, for example, was filed at approximately 1:24 p.m. What I wanted to point out to you is that in addition to the fact that Mr. Kohberger is now bound from having no direct or indirect contact with any of the individuals that are listed in these 7 court orders through January 5th, 2124, when he will be approximately 129 years of age. There were 2 points that we brought up in our prior presentation, one of which, if we go to the second page, Judge Hippler had checked off a yes, that the defendant appeared or had actual knowledge of this hearing and the opportunity to participate. And as we noted, there was no hearing, there was no response from Mr. Kohberger. And then what I wanted to point out here is that the second option, if this was a no, that Mr. Kohberger did not appear or had actual knowledge of the hearing, which in giving my opinion, giving speculation, pure commentary, appears to have been what would have been appropriate here because there was no hearing that was scheduled. It then directs Mr. Kohberger as follows. If no, then upon service, defendant is notified of the right to request a hearing before a judge on this order. The request must be filed within 7 days of service. To request a hearing, you must contact the clerk of the court at 522 South Adams Street, Moscow, Idaho, 83843, and then there's a telephone number given. The court must hold a hearing within 14 days of the filing of the request and must provide notice of the hearing to the protected person and the parties. We see here Judge Hippler's signature and the date of July 23rd, 2025, handwritten in underneath the "it is so ordered" statement. Now, what I find rather confusing is that the only reason why this case of Idaho versus Kohberger was even proceeding in Latah County and before Judge Stephen J. Hippler, as opposed to being prosecuted in Latah County, where the case was initiated as it was back on December 29th, 2022, is because after Mr. Kohberger filed a motion for a change of venue from Latah County, that motion was granted by Judge John Judge, who was the then presiding jurist in September of 2024. And then came this order directly from the Supreme Court of the state of Idaho, dated September 12th, 2024, and it says here, in the matter of change of venue, an order granting defendant's motion to change venue was entered in the district court, where it was requested that venue for trial be transferred from Latah County, 2nd Judicial District, in the case listed below. And then the Latah County case number and style is highlighted here. Therefore, after due consideration and due cause of hearing, it is ordered that venue for all further proceeding in this case are transferred from Latah County, 2nd Judicial District, to Ada County, 4th Judicial District. And then you can read what the order says with respect to Judge Hippler is assigned and may not be disqualified without cause. Defendant's transfer from the custody of the Latah County Sheriff to the Ada County Sheriff. And then the statement that it is further ordered the District Court Clerk for Latah County shall file and serve this order upon the parties or their counsel and take any action necessary to transfer venue of this case to Ada County. Dated this 12th day of September 2024 by order of the Supreme Court. And it states here, Chief Justice Bevin, his signature. So the question becomes, if venue was changed from Latah to Ada County as it was in September of 2024, in granting Mr. Kohberger's motion, where he raised throughout 2024 at various hearings, produced various documents that there was too much pretrial publicity and that he could not get a fair hearing or trial in Latah County, therefore leading to the successful entry of the order on the motion by Judge John Judge, referenced here in this mandate from the Supreme Court of Idaho, followed by the Supreme Court of Idaho's court order here in the matter of change of venue, directing that all proceedings were to be held in Ada County, and therefore nothing should be held in Latah County. Why is it, and I ask this rhetorical question, that Mr. Kohberger, after there being a certification here by Judge Hippler that there was some type of a hearing that Mr. Kohberger appeared at or had actual notice of when no such hearing appears on the court docket or on the case summary page, why is he then being further directed that if he wants a hearing, that he must request it of the clerk of court in Moscow, Idaho? This is the clerk in Latah County, as opposed to the clerk in Ada County, where the Supreme Court of Idaho, the better part of a year before, directed that all proceedings associated with the case styled as Idaho versus Kohberger was to be before Judge Hippler unless he was disqualified, and was to be in Ada County. These are comments, opinions, thoughts that I provide, speculation, and rhetorical questions pursuant to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. They are all personal opinions, but speculation, commentary. If you have any comments, thoughts, opinions relative to this matter, please leave it here. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.